Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals. Welcome back to my channel and to a bit of a different video. Today I am going to be tier ranking all of the books that I read in January, February and March, so quarter one of 2024. I actually read 50 books, so I'm going to get straight into it and let's share the screen recording. You will be able to see my face at the same time. So these books are not in any order down here at the bottom of the screen, and I haven't read any of my reviews or anything, so this is my thoughts having read them in the last 3 months. It's the middle of April, so it's at least 2 weeks since I finished any of these books, and we're just going to get in with it. And actually we're starting with a non-fiction book, which is The Cure for Burnout. This was fine, there was nothing wrong with it. It just the advice was kind of average and sort of logical, and it was very much set for corporate land, and that just, yeah. Chef's Kiss, it's low on Freaking Fabulous, or actually average. I'm going to put it in actually average. It's a graphic novel. Actually no, this was really cute. It was a graphic novel, male. I'm really bad at names, by the way, so I'm going to describe things. I'm not going to give you names. Male, romance, graphic novel, trying to become a chef, also coming of age, lots of things about that. The Au Pair is a thriller. It was a NetGalley one I got. It's two timelines of two au pairs working for the same family. It was good. It was alright. It was decent. I'd recommend it, but it wasn't the best thing I've ever read. Never Ever Getting Back Together I enjoyed more. I think probably I enjoyed Chef's Kiss more, so we're going to put it there. That is about... Actually no, you know what? It's going to go on actually average. Thinking about it. So this is about a couple who get together on a one-night stand sort of basis when they were teenagers, and then she hasn't dated anyone since and kind of still bitter about the one-night stand because she didn't think it was going to be a one-night stand, and that kind of annoyed me, so I've actually put that below The Au Pair. Next we've got Undoctored, which again is going to go in average, but just kind of below The Cure for Burnout. It's again a non-fiction book. It is by Adam Kay, who was a junior doctor who working in obs and gynae and then left and became a comedian. It's about his journey to becoming a comedian. I went in not expecting what the book was meant to be about. I was expecting it to be a little bit lighter. It was very heavy, and it's just not what I needed at the time or wanted to read, and yeah. One of Us Is Dead was great. I'm actually gonna put this in, it's either right at the top of Freaking Fabulous or into Ravishingly Rereadable. I'm going to put Freaking Fabulous, so 5-star reads for me is something I'm going to go back to time and time again, and I might read that again. I did really enjoy it, but it's a mystery, and I feel like mysteries are never as good the second time because you know what's going to happen. But it's basically about a group of women who are upper class, and they all go to a hair salon where they get their hair and stuff done. It's an exclusive salon, and then one of them ends up dead, and it's the journey of how that ended up. Next we've got Mooncakes, which is another graphic novel. I'm going to put it just below Never Ever Getting Back Together. It's about a witch and a werewolf who were friends when they were younger, and they get together in the book, and them trying to learn to use wolf magic to get rid of a evil spirit. There's quite a lot of in it. There's great representation, but it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. So I should have gone over my categories. So Ravishingly Rereadable is something that I'm going to go back to and I will read again and again. Freaking Fabulous is a really good book. I'd really recommend you read them. Actually average is yeah, it was a good book. There's nothing wrong with it. There was nothing I loved about it either. Not for me is exactly what it says. I can see why other people like this, but it is not for me, and I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, and should have DNF'd is exactly what it says on the tin. I should have not finished it, and that's where Wired Differently goes. It is about 18 or 31 neurodivergent people, written by a neurodivergent person, but he talked more about his own neurodivergent experience than about the people he was meant to be writing about. Anyway, next up we have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and this was again pretty average. It's a quite cute small town romance, grumpy sunshine. There's not a lot else to say. I enjoyed it. Happenstance. I really struggle with this, right? Because it's not good book, and it's not my kind of thing, and I think but I did enjoy the steam in it and I thought it was quite cute. But I think I'm going to put it in not for me. I think I probably rated it higher when I rated it, but essentially it's a Tessa Bailey book. There is a lot of spice that's going to be. But it's a wise choose, and essentially 3 guys and a girl meet in a cable car and are instantly attracted. The 3 men are instantly attracted to the girl, and it's kind of that, basically, wise choose. So they all kind of date. Yeah, that's what it is. Kiss the Girl, I'm going to put in Freaking Fabulous, and I think I probably enjoyed this more than Chef's Kiss looking back. It's a Little Mermaid retelling. A pop star has been working with her 6 sisters, Ariel, has been working with her 6 sisters on music for a long time, and then after this last tour, their dads agreed that they can do what they want for a year. Then he decides that Ariel has to release a solo album, so she runs away and joins Eric for a tour. Eric doesn't realise who she is. That's kind of it. Then 3 Bells, 2 Boys and 1 Brother's Best Friend. I have very little recollection of this book. It was one I read for Christmas, so I think I've mostly read it in end of 2023, but I finished it in 24. Because I have no memory of it, it means it doesn't stick out to me as anything, which means it's probably average, but I'll put it at the bottom of average because honestly I can't tell you. It's the second one in a series, so I clearly enjoyed enough to read the second one. Next up we have Sheets, which I'm going to put just under Chef's Kiss. This probably isn't as good as I thought it was, and as good as I remember it. I was in the really right place to read this when I did. It's another graphic novel. It's about a middle grade where the main character, after her mum dies, she helps her dad, or pretty much entirely runs the laundrette, and then a ghost turns up and starts making problems accidentally, and then they become friends. That's kind of the storyline. Yeah. The Other Side of the Truth is another middle grade that I really quite enjoyed. I'm going to put it in Freaking Fabulous. It's a really good story about, I've read it before, it was a reread for me. It's about 2 kids whose mother gets suddenly killed because their dad is an outspoken journalist, and then it's about their journey to the UK and how life treats them when they get to the UK. It's a lot about seeking asylum and things like that. It's a very good book. It is a middle grade and it's written as such, but it's a very deep middle grade book. Next up we have their Frozen Graves, which I thought was fantastic. This was another NetGalley arc. I think probably between Kiss the Girl and Chef's Kiss. This is a mystery about bodies found in a lake, I think. I remember really enjoying it, but my brain has just gone. But it's like related to the... Oh my god, I'm having a brain freeze. I remember really enjoying it, but I'm having a moment right now. I believe it was... I'm trying to work out why it was called The Frozen Graves. But I believe this one... No, that's The Kill List. Oh, I might get my books mixed up. I can't remember what this is then. So I'm going to put it... I remember enjoying it, and I remember wanting to read the rest of their books. So I'm going to put it below Pumpkin Spice Cafe because I didn't really enjoy The Cure for Burnout. I don't remember. Okay, The White and Blue Between Us. We have another Should I DNF'd, and this is lower than Wired Differently. It was a graphic novel. It was an arc. It was really bad. It didn't make sense. And there's a random rape that just is completely unexpected, and there is no relationship growth. Very strange book. The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I love Frida McFadden. I'm going to put this at the bottom of Freaking Fabulous. There are a lot of trigger warnings to this. If you don't like teacher-student relationships, do not pick this book up. Absolutely not. But yeah, it's a classic Frida McFadden popcorn thriller. Just, yeah, if you like Frida McFadden, pick it up. If you don't. It's that simple. Frankie's World, I'm going to put at the top of actually average. It's another coming of age middle grade graphic novel about Frankie discovering that she is not like everybody else, and she's trying to find a dad and find out why she is weird. Next we have Love Theoretically, and this is going to go in freaking fabulous. It's going to go just under One of Us is Dead. So this is about a couple, a theoretical physicist and I read this in another book quite similar, a theoretical physicist and an experimental physicist. Those words are very difficult to say. It's kind of enemies to lovers. It's classic Ali Hazelwood, and it's kind of a mix between Love on the Brain and oh my god, her other book, which the name of has gone out my mad. The Love Hypothesis? No. Maybe? Anyway, mix between her other two novels. And it was good. It's just, yeah, not outstanding. Maybe I'll put it below Kiss the Girl, actually. I think that's where it should go. Before I go to sleep, I really enjoyed this. It's going to go above Chef's Kiss. It's going to go above Love Theoretically. I think so. This is another thriller. It is about a woman who every time she goes to sleep forgets the last day since her accident, let's call it. And yeah, there's nothing else to say about that other than, yeah, before I go to sleep. I don't want to ruin it, but it could get quite repetitive, but I think the author does it in a really clever way, and I really like the twist. The kiss quotient I really enjoyed. I think it's better than Kiss the Girl. So this is about an autistic woman who decides to hire a male escort to teach her how to I've just remembered what my Frozen Graves are about. I'll come back to it. To date and how to have good sex. And obviously they fake date, so it's a nice fake date romance. Really enjoy it. Their Frozen Graves, basically two bodies are found. They look like identical twins, and then they discover that one has been and then they go to see the woman who they look like, or the husband of the woman who one of them who they look like, and discover she's not dead. So it's really interesting. It's a really, really good mystery, and I'm gonna put it just below The Teacher. Now I've remembered what it's about. I was like, I know I enjoyed this, but I can't think. But yeah, the book I was thinking that was when I started describing it was The Kill List, which I enjoyed even more, but that was very long. But I would also recommend this. It's another mystery. I think I enjoyed it less than Before I Go to Sleep, but more than Love Theoretically. So this is about a serial killer who had been judged guilty, and then he is insisting he is innocent, and then ends up dead. So he gets released from prison and then gets killed. Though he doesn't actually get released from prison, he's about to be released when he is killed. So then it is looking at whether he had committed these crimes or who it was and why. If not, he'd ended up framed and things. It's a very, very good book. There are a lot of characters. It's the second in the series, and I would recommend reading the first, I think, because you meet a lot of characters and there's a lot of backstory, and I think it would be better if you knew a bit more about that backstory. But again, this was an arc. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, freaking fabulous. I don't think I'd reread it. I generally don't reread mysteries, so I feel like this is a bit mean because I only really give 5 stars to things I'd reread, and I'd never reread a mystery. But well. The Brothers Hawthorne. Right, so I'm gonna put it at the bottom of Ravishingly Readable, but I think I enjoyed it less than One of Us is Dead. But I'm gonna put One of Us is Dead up there because I really, really enjoyed One of Us is Dead. So The Brothers Hawthorne is the 4th book in the Inheritance Game trilogy. It focuses on the 2 brothers. I don't want to give spoilers, but it focuses on 2 of the 4 brothers and what happens to them after the events of the Inheritance Game trilogy has ended. I really enjoyed this. I think it's great, and I'm slowly rereading the Inheritance Game trilogy, and which is why the Inheritance Game is on this list. I love the Inheritance games. I think it's the best of the 3. Maybe I prefer Final Gambit, but yeah, which is basically about Avery, who gets a surprise inheritance of basically the whole estate of a very rich man's, the Hawthorne estate and a lot of money, and essentially he's left clues to why he's left it to her, etc., and why he's written out his 3 grandchildren and his 2 daughters from his will, pretty much. It's really fun. It's a lot. Yeah, I really like it. I really recommend the original trilogy and the 4th book. Next we have Angel Fall, which I'm really struggling to put this somewhere because I've just finished the 2nd book in this, and I really didn't enjoy the 2nd book, but I really enjoyed Angel Fall. But the fact I didn't enjoy the 2nd book is like making me like about Angel Fall, but I did really enjoy Angel Fall. Angel Fall is set in a post-apocalyptic world where the angels have come down to Earth and essentially destroyed most of humanity. There's a family of 3. The mother has schizophrenia and has not got her medication because of this. The younger daughter, who is only 8, which I only discovered in the 2nd book, requires a wheelchair, and the main character Penryn, who essentially Penryn witnesses a angel being attacked by other angels, and they cut off his wings. Then she essentially manages to save this angel at that point, and then the angels that were attacking Raph, his name, the angels who's got his wings cut off, take her sister because she helped Raph, and then she basically kidnaps Raph, who's in great deal of pain from having his wings cut off, and takes his wings to basically threaten him into helping her find her sister. And it's great. It's really good. It's a really good fantasy. It's nice entry level. There's not too much like world building because it is set on Earth, but there is like the world of angels, etc. So that's that. On to Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. I think this is going to have to go at the bottom of Freaking Fabulous because I think this is the worst Finlay Donovan book. To be honest, there were just a lot of different streams, and I'm struggling to remember what actually happened in this one because I read the next one as well, but I finished that in April. Just annoying. Oh no, I do know what happened. So Finlay Donovan is basically a series of books about an author who gets wrapped up in the criminal world because her publicist overhears her. She's having a conversation with a publicist, and a woman overhears her conversation and thinks that Finlay is a hit woman. Then, yeah, it just spirals from there. So she kind of ends up involved with crimes and things. And in this one, essentially, she is trying to find a hit person who they think is related to the police force. And as a result, she goes to a police academy community event they have on for a week to try and sniff out this guy. That's kind of the summary. It's not the best Finlay Donovan book. It felt a bit like filler, but Rolls the Dice and the first 2 are very, very good. Dream a Little Dream I did not enjoy. I'm going to put in Not For Me and lower than Happenstance. It's about a woman who broke up with someone 2 years ago and then starts who's in their friend group, and now he's getting married because she stayed friends with him even though she didn't want to, and then she starts having dreams about somebody she knew at university, and then he turns up working in her office. That's kind of the summary. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up. I'm again going to put in Freaking Fabulous, but at the bottom. This is about a woman in her 40s who moves back to London from the States, having had a breakdown of her relationship with her fiance. And yeah, it's just not ideal, really, where she finds herself. And then she starts a podcast called Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up, and it's a really nice. It's very much a person-centred, not a plot story, which is not normally my favourite book, but I did really enjoy this. Okay, moving on to My Mechanical Romance. I really enjoyed this, and probably to the point that I would reread it. But I probably didn't enjoy it much. I think it's going to go there between Before I Go to Sleep and The Kill List. So this is a teen romance. It's set at high school. the female character just has to join the robotics team, but kind of is good at things by accident and doesn't know like the theory behind it and stuff. And then the main guy there is super popular. And yeah, it's quite a lot about women in STEM and stuff, and there's a lot of sexism about women in STEM, which I love in a book. And yeah, it was decent. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Once Upon a Time Reawakened is gonna go between Happenstance and Dream a Little Dream and Not For Me. I enjoyed this because I really love the TV series. If you haven't seen the TV series, I don't think you could follow this, and yeah, I'm not sure I'd reread it, but it was nice to go back to it and have like new Once Upon a Time content, even though it's not new to me, you know. But yeah, I love Once Upon a Time. So then Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This is pretty good. I think I preferred it to Love Theoretically, but so I'm going to put it there. So this is about a girl with fibromyalgia, I think. So she's in chronic pain and on lots of medication, and she decides after a near-death experience that she needs to make it on her own and not keep relying on her family. So she moves out, and there she meets Red, who is the building handyman, and it's kind of about him helping her to achieve her list of things she wants to do to get a life, and then they develop a relationship. So it's kind of enemies to lovers, and it's just very cute and it's very lovely, and yeah, really enjoyed it. Okay, next we have Switched, which is quite an enjoyable read. I'm going to put it like the same as Love Theoretically. I don't know which sides of Love Theoretically to put it on. In some ways I preferred it to Love Theoretically because it's got some magical realism in as well. So essentially the male and female at this place do they have a one night stand? Do they actually sleep together? I think they might do, but I can't remember. Anyway, they have a night and they are clearly very attracted to one another. I think they have a one night stand, and then she discovers, yes, they do have a one night stand. What is that? And then they were going to go out for the rest of the evening? I can't remember. Then she discovers that this guy is actually her new boss. She didn't even know she was getting a new boss. So then the events are like a year later, and they are at the Hadron Collider, and something weird happens and they get switched into one another's bodies. They then have to go to his brother's wedding, and then to see her family as well in one another's bodies. So it's a lot of fun. It's a really enjoyable book. Okay, I'm going to really quickly go through the next 6 because they are novellas and they are very short. The Exception to the Rule is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It's mostly written via emails to one another, and that a couple email each other on Valentine's Day every year, so they never go a Valentine's Day without getting a message, but they've never met. Then we have Drop, Cover and Holds On, which was fine. I'm going to put it below with Pumpkin Spice Cafe. No, in fact, yeah, I'm going to put it there. It's about there's some sort of natural disaster in a bakery. Royal Valentines I enjoyed more, but probably more than The Teacher, but less than Other Side of the Truth. It's a royal female swaps places with her handmaiden type person for a few days, and meets a guy. Rosie and the Dreamboat was better than that, which is Rosie gets stuck in a expensive piece of spa equipment and talks to a fire person through the equipment, and they fall for each other. With any luck, I literally cannot remember what is about. I remember Worst Wingman Ever, but I remember enjoying it more than Rosie and the Dreamboat and Royal Valentine, I think. But I can't really remember what it's about, which means it didn't really stick out that much. I'll probably remember at some point, but it's going to have to go with Three Bells and One Brother's Best Friend, because I can't remember what it's about, and therefore I can't have made that much of a hint on it. Me. The Worst Wingman Ever can go below Confessions of a 40-something fuck up. It's about a woman who is a nurse, palliative care nurse, who's caring for her grandmother, and then a guy accidentally puts his brother's Valentine's card on her windscreen, and then they pass notes back and forth, and it's very cute. Her Secret Life, I think I'm going to put in average, above, never ever getting back together. A woman goes back to her mum's house to tell her why she's not seen her for so long, and discovers her mother has died. It's then about three sisters like working through their issues when they've not seen each other for very many years. Northern Lights is going to go up in ravishingly readable on the top of my books. I love the His Dark Materials trilogy. Essentially, Lyra is an orphan who has been taken in by one of the Oxford colleges, and her friend gets taken by the Gobblers, and so she goes on an adventure to try and rescue him. On Rotation is going to go up in a ravishingly rereadable as well, and just below Exception to the Rule. This is about a medical student struggling her way through medical school whilst trying to do all the things she does for med school. She meets a artist who draws a beautiful picture of him, and then it's about their relationship developing, and I want to say he has a girlfriend who becomes friends with her friends, and it's all a bit orcs. The Husbands by Holly Grosmino is another arc. I enjoyed this, but not like loads. Let's put it with Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun just above it. This is about a woman who's, every time she comes back from a night out and has a husband, which she didn't remember having a husband ever, and then every time the husband goes up into the loft, he transforms, and her life transforms into having a different husband, and life changes, and it kind of is this working out when to say yes to a husband and when to like stay married to them or what. So yeah, very, very interesting book. An Abundance of Wild Roses is going to go at the bottom of Should Have DNF'd, because I actually DNF'd it. I just couldn't get into it at all. It was beautiful writing, but I just could not get into it. 8 Perfect Hours is going to go into actually average, just above Rosie and the Dreamboat. The main characters get stuck in a traffic jam and spend the traffic jam chatting, and then life keeps throwing them together. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not for me. Tidy Ending, I did not enjoy. Putting that in Should Have DNF'd. I actually can't remember what it's about. I just remember not enjoying it at all. The Kite Runner. This is a book I found really hard to rate because I didn't enjoy it. It's super depressing. It's super hard to read, but I think it's a really good book to read and really important read. But I didn't enjoy it, so I'm struggling. But then it is fabulous because I'm going to put it there, below Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun, but in freaking fabulous. It's essentially about Afghanistan during the war. So it's a family, a sort of human, a person, that's the word, life story basically. He ends up in America and ends up as a writer, and it's his story of how his childhood went. He had his friend growing up, though he refuses to admit his friend was an ethnic minority in Afghanistan and was bullied for it, and it's just it's heartbreaking. You have to be in the right headspace to read it. The Stand-In is very cute. I'm going to put it just below Confessions of 40-something fuck up. It is about a girl who looks remarkably like a Chinese actress, even though she's only half Chinese. So there's a lot about like whiteism, colorism and things in it as well, and like not feeling like you belong, which is it's very good on that side of things. Anyway, she stands in for this actress at some events because the actress feels like she needs a break, and she has a best friend that travels everywhere with her, and it's kind of them falling for one another. Clubbing was another terrible should have DNF'd. I don't know why Tidy Ending is so high. Because I don't even remember what it's about. I'm going to put it below White and Red Between Us, because clearly just didn't make any impact. That does mean I didn't actively dislike it, so maybe it should go there. Clubbing is another middle grade graphic novel, and it's terrible. It makes no sense. I didn't enjoy it. Don't know what else to say other than that. The Subtle Art Not Giving a Fuck is going to go into Not For Me, just above Dream a Little Dream, because it's just not for me. He pissed me off too much, like clearly not taking on board depression or anything like that. Just pissed me off. Next, 13 Reasons Why. I'm going to put in actually average, below 8 perfect hours. If you don't know what this is about, this is a YA book about a girl who, trigger warning here, but she commits suicide and then leaves tapes, and it is one, and they get sent around the people they are about. There are 13 tapes, and it's her 13 reasons why she ended her life. It's heartbreaking. Again, I can't say I particularly enjoyed this book, but I think it's a really important book again. And then last but not least, this is also going to go in average, and it probably just above Undoctored. This is called Fake Dating Game. It was another it was another arc, and it's essentially about a guy who gets broken up with and then still decides to go away and try and audition for a game show. Manages to audition with one of the people that work at the hotel he's staying at for like a local agency for the hotels, and yeah, it's like their relation, they fake date to get on the game show, and it's that fake dating sort of becoming real dating, so it's just a fake dating trope. It was decent. I wanted more from the game aspects, but yeah, so that is kind of it for the books I read. I would recommend you read anything, to be fair. If you sound like you loved any of them, I'd read them. You'd love any of them, but anything above sort of Mooncakes up, actually Pumpkin Spice Cafe up, I would definitely recommend. But yeah, I think that's kind of how I feel about it, and I'm really happy with that little ranking. So yeah, comment like down below. Have you read any of these books? Were there any you're going to read now? Are there any you wouldn't read now that were on your list? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!